Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Thlologelo Promise Rampa. I go by Promise, and this is Relocate to Australia with Promise. So today we're going to be talking about some of the challenges that you might experience during, before, or after your skills assessment process. So what we're trying to do here is to make sure that you get a positive outcome for your skills assessment. And what I'm also going to be discussing today is what's next after skills assessment. So I'm going to be just touching a bit on it, but I'm just going to let you know what does it mean to have a positive skills assessment and how you can use that to your advantage here in Australia, way before you even come here. So let's get right into it. So the number one challenge that you might expect, especially for people who are like in my situation, who are unemployed. Number one, the first thing that I need to tell you, in order for you to be able to relocate to Australia, you need to meet all the requirements, or most of them, or all of them, of the requirements that Australia would have put in place for you to tick the box, okay? So number one, obviously, it's for the skills assessment, but you can get a positive skills assessment. However, you still need to meet the requirements for the visa that you're gunning for, okay? So what I mean by that is, okay, fine. Let's say, for example, you get the skills assessment done and everything is okay, it's all good. They're like, when are you are right to go? And then now you get to the point where, okay, fine, you now need to meet the requirements for the visa that you want. So you still have to meet those requirements. That's why even in my previous videos, I've explained that it is important for you to understand that even during your skills assessment process, don't neglect the visa process, because you still need to understand what is needed and wanted in a visa for you to be informed and know that, okay, I'm going into this knowing very well, okay, fine, this is what they're going to need for the visa. So you need to prepare for the steps that are still coming, okay? So that's why I'm saying that if maybe Australia might not be the destination, if you feel like you won't be able to meet certain requirements for the visa. So what I'm going to do in the coming weeks, I want us to look at the requirements for certain visas. So I'm going to be doing the whole computer thing where we're looking at how you can then assess yourself to see if you qualify for a certain visa. And then that way, it's going to at least guide you and make you more confident if you know that, okay, fine, I do meet the requirements of this visa. So I'd then be comfortable enough in going to do my skills assessment. With people who are in a similar situation as me, when I was back home and unemployed, I think there were like 2 agents that told me that I would not be able to get a positive skills assessment outcome because I don't have work experience. And for me, it was obviously discouraging, but then I felt like, you know what, as I always say, you are not God. You are not God. You will not tell me you're just a living human being here walking on this earth just like me. You know nothing. So leave me. So what I did, I fought. I was like, no, this can't be. So what I did, I gathered all my documents. I did everything. I was always contacting them. I was always phoning. I was always emailing saying, look, this is the situation. I am in South Africa. There are no jobs. So I had this one lady who told me that you can have a positive skills assessment. This is someone that I had emailed at the AASW. This is my assessing authority, who said to me, no, you would have to get some work experience. So do your skills assessment after 2 years. I was like, did you just hear what I said? I have been unemployed all these years. There are no jobs here. That's why I need to leave. So, Sesiwe, how do I work around not having work experience but still getting a positive skills assessment? So she was like to me, okay, you would need to prove that you did certain hours for your field placement. I was like, thank you. I went to my school, to the university, and I was like, okay, can I please have my files, my field instruction files? And then they were like, okay, fine, you would have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come into the office, and then we'll give you a key. I had to spend the whole day at Vits, going through a room full of hundreds and hundreds of files to look for my files, to make sure that I had a copy of my my timesheet when I was doing my placement during my studies, and that helped me a lot. And you know, sometimes things work in miraculous ways. I would always do extra hours, and even though during that time I did not know that I was gonna need these hours, but they really helped me when I had to then do this, because when they said, okay, this is however many hours that we needed, I had extra. They needed, I think, about 900 and something. I had more than 1,000 something hours because I was always doing extra at school. So if you are a student, I'm telling you now, you are not doing yourself a disservice if you are putting extra. When they tell you give 10, you give 20. Okay, it's okay, because you might need this later on. But in a situation where you are unemployed, because as I explained, you will also need to meet the requirements for the visa. So in my situation, obviously, I knew that I might not meet the requirements for the visa because I don't have 2 years work experience. However, my situation is different because I've got my husband. And that happened was I knew that my skills assessment being positive was going to add points to the visas that we were looking for. So that's why it was important for me to do that skills assessment. And even if we don't count the visa, let's just say, for example, I did not need to do it because I was going to come on my husband's visa, but I knew that when I came here, I wanted to get a job. And the only way in which I can get a job is if I've got an assessment done on my skills and I can actually say, okay, this is what the situation is. So this is what the situation is. I now need a job. So I would really, really, really recommend for you to look at, as I always say, your table and see what you're being served and see how you can navigate and use all those resources for you to be able to get a positive outcome. So obviously, different assessing authorities want different things. That's why it is very important for you to know. There are some of them who are just like strict, like, yay, we just want you with work experience. You can ask them, can I do it like this? And if they say no, it's okay. And as I've explained to you, maybe Australia might not be the destination right now, but you should not be discouraged. Try by all means to get as much as you can get for you to be able to get a positive outcome. So for me, I did not have that work experience, but I still got a positive outcome because I was able to prove to them that I completed however many hours that they needed for my skills assessment. So that helped me to have a positive assessment outcome, and it really helped me when I came here because I was able to get a job. Okay, so you must just look at your situation. If you're in a situation where you've got a partner that you're going to be then doing this process with, I would really recommend for you to do the skills assessment, especially if your skills are on the assessing the, what do they call this, the skill occupation list. If your skills are on the occupation list but you don't have like work experience, but you know that you're going to be coming here with someone who does, don't just sit and let them do all the work. No, when you come here, you also want to work. So now you have to do yours, okay? So obviously it's going to be a challenge because you don't have work experience. But me, I believe God is great. That's just me. I just believe God is great. For me, I just feel like if this is something that you really need to do and you really want to do and it has been approved by God and your ancestors, regardless of who says what, it is going to happen. For you, you just need to write it down and say, this is what I want. I feel like I'm a person that writes a lot. I feel like every time when I write something, I'm able to get it because I work on it and I see it and I'm like, yeah, this is something that I really need to work on and I need to get it. To Australia, I legit did not have any work experience, nothing. And I was told every time that where now you won't get a positive skills outcome, where now you won't get a job when you get here, where now this and this and that. It was so discouraging. But for me, I felt like this, you are not God. You are not God. You are not my ancestors. So leave me. People will try to drag you down. People will always try to drag you down and pull you down all the time. Don't allow them. Don't allow them. Anything and everything is possible. Everything and anything is possible. Where not, as long as you're willing to fight, to say that, look, this is what I want. And I want it. You work for it. You work towards it. You don't just want it sitting down, angry and miserable. You work towards it. In whatever situation that you're in, I will tell you now, in whatever situation that you're in, obviously people will discourage you. People will say a lot of things about your situation. But when I don't write yourself off, just because somebody else has written you off because you don't meet certain requirements and all of that, don't write yourself off. Do not ever do that. So all you just need to do is to gather everything that you've got and then say to yourself, okay, I've got this. Where can I fit in? What are my chances? What can I get? And ask questions. As I tell you, ask questions, send emails, do all those things that you need to do to make sure that that skills assessment comes out positive. Okay? Just ask, because you never know what someone might come back and say to you, you know, so you just never know. Yes, it is a risk, but as you know, if you don't take risks, you know the story if you don't take risks. So sometimes you just need to take risks, okay? You take risks and you see how far they take you. That's all. And then I explained that there are some qualifications where prior to getting a positive skills assessment, you might have to do a board exam, an assessment, and all those kind of shandies. So listen, do them. Let's say, for example, you fail your board exam, okay? There's always a second chance. There's always tomorrow. You can always do it. This thing is just like being in varsity and going to varsity. You just need to meet the requirements. You need to do what they tell you that you need to do, and you just do it. So in a situation where you either maybe fail your board exam or whatever during the process, listen to me. It is not the end of the day. It is not the end of the day. It is just like if you are in varsity and you fail something. I carry you need to evaluate what happened. Did I not prepare? Did I not understand the questions? Nje, evaluation. You evaluate, you self-reflect, and you're like, okay, I might have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How can I fix that? And you fix it and you go back to right. You don't give up in this process. You do not give up. Sometimes failure is a redirection. Sometimes failure is an alert to say, hey. There's something that you should be doing and you're not doing. So you must know what is going on at all point in time. You must know what is going on around you, surrounding you. Because sometimes you might have gone into the board exam stressed, nervous, anxious, and all of that. So just make sure that you pass that board exam or assessment or whatever that you would need to do to get this positive skills assessment outcome, okay? The other thing is an English test, right? So what will happen if you maybe, let's say, for example, fail the English test? You write it again. You write it again. And as I explained to you, you don't need to do an English test during the skills assessment. I've explained that in my previous videos. So if you don't know and you're not clued up, please go and watch them because I've explained why and how to navigate around it. As I've explained to you in my previous video, you can always try and get someone to write a letter from you from the schools that you went to. You get someone from the schools that you went to or the university to write a letter and sign it and stamp it and do whatever. And then they send it off to the skill assessing authority for them to then see, okay, this person went to a good school, it's fine. They learned whatever they learned in English. But if you need to then translate your documents and all of that, translate them. Translate is going to need money. So I've also spoken about how you can fund your relocation dream. It is in my previous videos, but just to touch a bit on it because obviously it is going to be some of the challenges that you experience during the skills assessment process. So if you don't have the money, make sure you try and get the money. This thing is going to need money. It is going to need money. It is an investment. It is just like going for an education or getting a certificate or getting something. It is really something that needs an investment. It needs money. It is an investment. So if you are able to eat food at night and you don't go to bed starving, then there is a plan. Use it. There is a plan for you to have money. If you can have food on your table at night when you go to bed, then you can have money. You can borrow money from somewhere. You can do extra things. You can sell something, sell Herbalife, sell Forever Living, whatever that you might need to do to make sure that, there's this one guy. He was unemployed. He wants to go to Canada. His name is Zola. We've been talking for almost 2 years now. It's almost 2 years now. Because he contacted me early last year, Zola. So Zola was unemployed. He lost his job. But he made sure that he got another job. And he's always telling me, promise, I'm saving up. This is what I'm doing. I need to get this thing done. So this is my plan. This is how I'm going to go about it. That guy motivates me, bruh. He's so serious. His level of being serious about leaving South Africa. I'm so shocked. I'm like, wow. I was not even at your level, Zola. He is so amazing. He is so amazing. He goes all out. He goes all out to make sure that he's got money in order to do things. So I'm like, this guy is great. So I'm telling you now, if you put your focus and you put your brain power and your brain cells and everything into solving the problem, the problem is solved already, okay? You just need to work for it to then get to the solvement stage. But it is solved. So you just need to always be on solution mode. This problem arises, you got a plan, okay? So the other thing that you need to be mindful of is the time frames for a skills assessment. So way outside of the visa. So the skills assessment obviously has time frames. So what I mean by time frame is their response time frame. So this is from the time that they have received the documents. So way before the whole posting situation, yada yada yada. From the time that the documents have clocked in their offices to say we have received your documents, from that day moving forth, you have to wait. So what that means is that they obviously have different time frames. With my husband, I think it was, all in all, I think it took him about 3-4 months, because one of them took about 2 months, because they have board meetings. They have sittings every month on a particular day where they sit to talk about yada yada yada, all the skills assessment and all the documents that they've got, and then they're going to release a list of all the people that got approved that month. And I think that comes after about a couple of days after the sitting. So you just have to be on their website waiting for the results, right? But in my situation, it was different. It was it took 6 months. It took 5. It took 5.5, because I remember before 6 months, 6 months of anxiety. The anxiety. It was so rough, because you just have to wait. You have to wait. And most of the time they tell you, just wait. We've received your document. We are still assessing them. So just wait. And you're just like, Jesus, help me. But you just have to wait. For me, I waited 5 months, 5.5, because I remember when I got it, I was like, this is early. And then it was positive. I sent to God. I prayed. I was like, God, thank you. Thank you. Because I was so scared. I was legit so scared. So when it came back positive, I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. So just so you know, there are time frames that are in place. Most of the websites do say this is when you should wait. And as I told you, spend a lot of time reading. Spend a lot of time on the internet, because they always have. This is what the time frame is. This is what with AASW. What they do, the minute they receive your documents, they send you an email to say, we have received your documents and they are about to go through an assessment process. Leave us alone. Don't talk to us. I'm joking. I don't think they say that. But then, yeah, with my husband, I think they also sent the same thing. But then for him, obviously, it was 2 times where they say, okay, now you have moved from here, you are going here. So if you don't receive anything, let's say, for example, you tell yourself, okay, I'm giving myself 2 to 3 weeks for my documents to move from wherever to come into Australia, and I've not yet received anything, I think it would be worthwhile to just either call them or send through an email to say, I'm sending such and such and such through this and this and this. This is the tracking number, yada yada yada. And I just wanted to know if you have received them, because then they would be able to say yes, no, we haven't, or whatever that they might tell you. And then from then onwards, do not be discouraged. As I always say, do not be discouraged. And when you send your documents, always have a backup plan. And what I mean by a backup plan is whatever documents that you're getting, it would be maybe great if you get duplicates, like 2 sets of, because you don't know what might happen. So don't just send alpha and omega, everything in that envelope, where should it get lost, or the plane that was trying to get the documents in crashes into the water, or anything can happen. At least you know you've got a second set of documents then that you can try and send. So just make sure that you've got a backup plan all the time, at all points in time. The other thing is, if it passes 6 months and you have not yet received, like for example, as I explained to you with Australian Association, this name is long, AASW. With them, they tell you valid it is 6 months. I don't know if that has changed, but it was 6 months. And I remember during the time when I did my assessment, they changed from you sending your documents at any point in time. Like with us, I can send my documents, and I could send my documents at any point in time. So they changed that because they were getting so many applications. They changed that to say we're going to have open days, like open months, whatever. So you can only send your documents in order to make it to the next skills assessment, like a sitting or process. You need to send your documents by this is why it is very, very, very important for you to sit and read what they have on these websites, because they will always guide you as to how they want things to be done. So sit down and read. So if 6 months passes or 3 months passes or whatever time frame that they have put in place, contact them and say, okay, I'm just following up what is happening, and hopefully they will be able to explain to you what is going on. Because again, look what's going on now. There's like COVID and things are going on. People can't work. So there are so many things that might be happening as to why there is a delay, or maybe there are no assessments currently happening. So many of the relocation things have stopped. Obviously, because we can't have movement, we are all nervous and scared about what's going on in the world. But don't let that discourage you. Where now you do the job that you need to do, gather the documents, gather everything that you will need, and be prepared. Because should we go back to normal, hopefully, Lord, we do. Should we go back to normal, then when you are ready, you won't just start then when everything is back to normal. So you will spend this time during this COVID lockdowns and all of that, sitting and making sure that you read. Don't be depressed and worried and scared about what's going on if you don't have any control over it. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how to deal with it. All we can just do is put our faith and trust in people who say they know what is going on. So don't worry. Sit at home, isolate, do all the things you need to do according to the COVID regulation stuff, but make sure that you sit down and you read. This is the time where you are given to read and advance yourself in life, so use it. So I had this one person ask me, do skills assessment expire? I think they do. The reason why I think so, now, I'm not too sure though, because it's different with different people. But the reason why I think they expire, if let's say for example you did a skills assessment, I think they normally last for like I think with ours for social workers it was 2 years. It was 2 or 3 years, I don't remember. But they might expire. I'm not too sure. You'll have to check on the internet. But I think they do expire, because the reason why they expire is because obviously, let's say for example you did the skills assessment and then you did not get a visa granted. What are you going to be doing the skills assessment? Nothing. And at that time, maybe they might have changed processes. There are so many things that change. They might have changed guidelines. So obviously, you might have to get your skills reassessed again according to whatever that they'll be using at that point in time. Check the internet and see what goes on in your own skill assessing authority. That's why I said in and out. In and out. You must know the website and what's going on, and you must read, okay? So if it is a situation where your skills assessment maybe has expired, you might have to do another skills assessment. Unfortunately, there's no other way. So, but then I know it's not something that expires in like 2 months or 3 months. I think it's about 2 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, where it would then expire, and then you would have to do another one. There are a lot of reasons that might go into that, because system changes, maybe they realize the blunder in the previous way of assessing things and they want to fix it. So obviously then they would then have to reassess your skills if they have expired. But to make sure that you don't have to deal with this situation, make sure that you do bam, so that everything falls within time frame, because it will be so costly if you do something and you wait, So make sure that by the time when you are done with step number 1, you are working towards step number 2, you are informed about step number 3. You must be ahead. So when you are this 6 months, when you are waiting for your skills assessment outcome, you don't just sit waiting for Jehovah to come back with the response. No, you are busy. What are you busy with? You are busy looking for jobs. Because now you start applying again, and then you tell them in your application, I'm in the process of doing a skills assessment. I'm waiting for the outcome. The other thing that might happen is that you might get banned from the skill assessing authority. So what this means is that the skill assessing authority thinks when you've got some shiga going on. You put some false documents, or they think you lied. So either the outcome will come out as positive, negative, or you have been banned. So try to not get banned. At least when it is negative, you can go and rework the situation and apply again. If you have been banned, it's when they say, whenever we don't trust you. I know we are desperate. I know we are from Africa and we are desperate. But by all means, try and be very close to the truth. Very, find yourself very close to the truth. Because imagine now waiting for a skills assessment and you are worried about the truth and a positive outcome at the same time. Too much work. too much work. So by all means, try to just produce proper and legit documents. You don't know how they go about to verify and make sure that your documents are legit. So make sure that you provide legit documents. You provide legit documents, and when you are typing out things and writing out things, you are telling the truth, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you are banned from doing a skills assessment. Some people, what they have done, if they are banned, they try to get a lawyer, of which is now money. So they try to get a lawyer who will be able to kind of like protest the situation or all of that. So you don't want to find yourself in a situation where now there's an extra cost where you have to now get a lawyer to come in to talk for you and say that no, this person was not lying. Okay, so make sure that you, when they say produce the documents, produce the legit and original and truthful documents. Don't lie. Do not lie, because sometimes lying does not work for everyone. Okay, it might have worked for your neighbor, but it might not work for you. So that's the situation and some of the challenges that you might experience during the skills assessment process. You might fail a couple of things, you might need to redo things, you might be told that you need work experience. So just try and by all means to navigate around all the challenges that you might experience during this relocation process. And if you trust and you believe that this is the journey that you need to take, trust me, God and your ancestors will open the way. It is going to be difficult. This is hard, as I've explained to you. This is hard. That's why you need to understand your reasons why. You need to know and be sure why you want to leave. Don't just leave because you see people leave. It's very important for you to know why you are starting this process, because that is the thing that's going to sustain you throughout this whole process. When you know your why, and this is why I had to then do that whole segment of why we left South Africa. When you know your why and you are sure and 100% in your heart, you have certified it to say, this is it, I am leaving, I am gone. If you, in your head, you are already gone in South Africa, you are gone. I remember there was a point where I was like, there's no need for me to even continue looking for a job because I'm leaving, I'm going. You work on it. If you can see it and you can believe it, you can achieve it, Baba. I'm telling you. As long as when you set it out for yourself and say, this is something that I'm going to do, I will make sure that whatever that they say they want, I will produce it. You can do it. You can definitely do it. So for me, whatever challenge that you might come across, discuss it with someone. Try and consult with someone. Try to find ways in which other people have navigated around it. Obviously, you are going to have people that are going to tell you, hey, when you can't fit into this certain box because of whatever reason, don't believe them. Do not believe them, because people will always discourage you because that's what they believe and hold true about themselves, and they want to project it to you. Don't make it your problem. If someone tells you you can't do this, you just like, thank you. You go next door. You go somewhere where people will tell you it is possible. If you can believe it, then you can achieve it. It is possible. It is possible, regardless of your situation and wherever you are sitting. And Australia, as I said, Australia might not be the destination at the moment. Try and see if there are other places where you can then fit your skills or whatever situation or whatever scenario that you've got there, knowing that you're working towards coming to Australia or wherever where your heart desires to go. Okay. So yes, let's now move on to what happens after you get a positive skills assessment. So obviously, after you get a positive skills assessment, this is what we did. We were applying for jobs even during the skills assessment process. As I told you, there was like 6 months and all these 3 months, 5 months in between. We were applying for jobs, but sometimes jobs don't really trust that, your skills assessment is going to come out positive. So they might say, no, we want someone who has working rights, or we might want someone that has a positive skills outcome, all those kind of things. So when you then get your positive skills outcome, then you put it on your CV. And you put the membership number and whatever number that will be given to you from your assessing authority. And then you tell them, I did the skills assessment. So what that means is that I can now work in Australia. So sponsor me. So that's what you can do. And that's the great thing. If you don't have like a visa yet. So now you are still working towards the visa. Because this is what me and my husband did. We did these processes, as I always say, simultaneously. We were looking for a sponsorship and we were applying for the permanent residency visa all at the same time. So when we sent through our sponsorship documents, when we eventually got a sponsorship, we simultaneously sent through the permanent residency documents. So because you're obviously going to need like health checks and yada yada yada, all these things at the end to save money. and to maximize on this. We did just one set of medicals, and then we used both of them for the 2 different visas. You see, that's how you save money. So when you get then your positive skills assessment, what you need to do, obviously, you mention it in your CV, because sometimes these recruitment agencies and all of that, they do get people and then they encourage them to do the skills assessment. So now they don't even need to do encouragement for you. You've already done it when yourself. So you can also it also kind of maybe proves that you can do things without being led to do them. So, it ups you a bit more lifing. So what you do, you put it obviously in your CV. When you get interviews and all of that, you mention to them, yes, I did my skills assessment and I've got this number and I'm a membership. I've got a membership of yada, yada, yada. Because with AASW, they give you membership with them for a year for free. I don't know if they still do that. They did that for me. I got a membership for free for a year. I got some insurances in place. So at least now you tell them, okay, fine, I did the skills assessment, I got the insurances, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For them, it's like, oh, okay, this person. So it might advance you and get you in a position where then you would be able to get a sponsorship. But you don't obviously need a skills assessment initially to get a sponsorship. If you have not yet started with the skills assessment, I do encourage you to still apply. Because one thing about Australia that I know, they always need people to fill in positions. So they do have this option where they keep your CV. If they feel like, okay, this is one person that we can work with, they do keep your CV. Because I remember after we relocated here, there were so many jobs that I had applied for. Some of them would contact me even afterwards. They're like, Promise, you applied for a job whenever there's a position that has come up now. Are you available for it? Are you still in South Africa? So you are there in their database. So that's why it's important for you to even start applying for jobs today. The minute you're done watching this video, you start applying for jobs, okay? And then once you get then your skills assessment, it obviously advances you. It's something that you put into your CV. You can recontact all those people that you had applied jobs for to say, this is my new CV, Twarang. All those kind of things. You work. This requires so much time, so much work. And as I've explained to you, it's going to require for you to apply yourself at all point in time, okay? So make sure that once your skills assessment comes out positive, you put it on your CV and you put it out there to say that, okay, I am able to fulfill a role in Australia to them, and you explain it to them that, no, listen, this is the situation in case you don't know. I can fulfill a role there. I just now need working rights. So that's where you come in. Are you able to sponsor me? Yes, no. If no, okay, just keep my CV. I'll call you when I get my permanent residence. Simple. Or my other working right visa, I'll call you. Or my advice is apply for jobs starting today. Apply for jobs. And when you read, we'll talk about the whole job application later on. But when you read, even when they say we want someone with working rights, apply for it. Apply for it. You know why? You know why I'm saying this? When I was in second year, I did not have a bursary, right? And I needed a bursary. So I remember getting this application form from CareerWise, and they had written in bold on the front page of that form to say that we don't take social workers this year. I acted blind. I wrote my name, everything. I sent it through. I was like, I want you to reject me. I know you are rejecting me, but I want to hear you reject me in my face. Reject me. Come back with a letter rejecting me. It's okay. And then I sent through that application. I didn't think anything was going to come out of it. Let me tell you, they responded to me. It was like late on in the year. It was later on in the year. I was pregnant at the time with Marang. It was like around August. And they called me. They're like, Promise, this is CareerWise. There's a Kellogg's company that wants social work and medicine. They wanted social work. I think they said they wanted social work, medicine, and education students. So we received your application. Mind you, they said they did not want social workers. So we received your application. We shortlisted you to come for an interview. These are the people. Come tomorrow. Come tomorrow. Yes, come tomorrow. These were the last people that I was expecting to get a call from, because they said to me that they don't want social workers. I went to the interview. I got the bazaar. My grandmother taught me one thing. Even if the shoe does not fit you, you wear it. If it is too small, you walk like this. If it is too big, you walk like this. You wear it until it fits you. You might grow into it, or your shoe might shrink to get. You don't know the situation. You don't know what's gonna happen. But my grandmother always says, if something is designated for you, and it is for you, in whatever situation, whatever is a stumbling block in front of you, if you do believe that it is yours, it is yours. It will happen. So even in a situation where you see that they say they want people with working rights, send that application. You have done no one any harm. You have not harmed anyone. You send it through to them. You send the CV, everything that they say they want to send it. You say, reject me. And when they reject you, don't feel some type of way and take it personal. No, you just allow them to reject you. It's fine. They rejected you. It's okay. But oksalayo, they will have your name in their database. One day, they are going to need people, and they're going to remember that guy that kept on sending CVs even when he did not have working rights. And things always change all the time. Companies grow. So you might get to a situation where now the company is able to sponsor people. Even if 10 years ago they said that they did not want people who don't have visas, now they've grown to a place where they can now sponsor people. Guess who's going to pop up on their system? You. So don't give up. Don't give up. Do not ever give up. Even in a... Hi, baby. Hang on. So don't give up, guys. As long as you know why you want to do this, and as I've explained to you, it is very important for you to know why you are starting this process, because that's the thing that's going to make sure that you are sustained throughout this whole process, because it is long, it is daunting, it is so discouraging. There's so many times where you're gonna get rejections and all of those things. So you need to keep pushing. You need to, in whatever situation that you're in and whatever that is going on around you, just pray about it, talk to your ancestors, do the things that need to be done, and make sure that this is something that they have prepared for you. And if you are able to have conversations with them, it is going to be easy then for you to recognize and know that this is something that they've made for you and something that they want for you. So you need to be so in tune with yourself to understand that, you know what, regardless of the challenges that I've got, regardless of the challenges that I've got and the challenges that are there, I can work around them. And it is just that, and that's just how you navigate through life. That's just how you navigate through life, and that's just how you do it. I have to sign out now, because as you can see, I have to mother. So you do the things that need to be done, as long as you know the kind of life that you want for yourself, the kind of life that you want for your children, the kind of life that you want for your future, for your siblings, for your family, because this does not only impact you, but it impacts the generations that are to come. It impacts the generation that is here right now that we are dealing with. It impacts on your family and everything, it impacts on it. So you just need to make sure that whatever challenge that you come across, you have a way of navigating around it. And even when people discourage you and tell you, when you can't get anything, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Walk with faith. Fear nothing. Fear nothing. Know that if this is something that has been prepared for you, you will get it no matter what. Okay, I need to go now. Shall I say goodbye? Bye.